Ron G Morning Show, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on WSAN Radio. All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ronald Gordon on our afternoon show on WSAN Radio, and we have Mr. Dave Tolliver and Mr. Marc Gordon here. Joe Little will be in a little later. I want to say thank you, fellas, for coming on, because y'all be in San Antonio February 8th.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, hey, I'm gonna make sure I try to give me a front row seat, but it's probably too late. But maybe I'll bully somebody and just take this. No, I won't do that.
Yeah, you should. That's the way to do it. Bully somebody.
Yeah, no, we won't do that. Oh, we'll be nice. We'll be nice. So, the first thing I listened to something the other day, and I was trying to figure out how y'all started singing together. And then it came across that Tom Joyner had a cruise going on. And I think Mr. Gordon, he invited you on the cruise. He told you he was going to be there, and you said, "Well, I'm there," without even asking. Was that when y'all first started coming up with this concept, Levert experience?
Yes. Yeah, that's the time. Actually, they told me that they had Dave and Joe already committed, and so it was, the last piece of the puzzle. And
he's the main piece. The main piece.
The main piece.
Yeah. It was a work in progress, because actually it was something that Al had been trying to put together for a few years prior to that, and eventually it came through, and so that was the kickoff. But these guys is a part of the brotherhood from the Trevor family, so we all came from the same, the same situation.
So I guess y'all didn't have to worry about chemistry, because watching some of the videos, the chemistry is definitely there. It seemed like y'all feed off each other when you're up there on stage, because y'all can relate to things that nobody will understand about musicians, that y'all was just, it seemed like it was meant to be for y'all to be together.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of seemed like that, don't it? I just think that the love that we have for each other, man, is incredible. The respect and admiration we have for each other, helps too. But by us all being in, respectable groups too, I think when to pardon yourself or pull back, or just kind of like, okay, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go. And that's also experience too. But just us. Man, it's all love, man. We really, really was a family up there, man. So, especially me and Marc. Me and Marc used to hang out all the time.
Oh,
Man,
man.
all the time. Yeah, when I was younger, I was about to say a little boy, but hell, I was like 19, 20 when I came around. Yeah, so a big little boy.
Right. And that's what, that's the interesting part about, the experience, because nobody else can relate to the Levert situation like the experience that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because that song, I'm gonna say it, I was DJing in my heydays when Casanova came out. And when I first played it on the floor, it was the first time they heard it, they stopped a little bit and looked. They looked around. It didn't take no more than 30 seconds for the floor to get full.
Yeah.
And then they came up and asked me, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Casanova." "Who's it by?" I said, "I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you figure it out who it's by. I'll play it again for the night's over with." But that song resonated with people out there. And it was this one guy, we call him Hop. And he got out there and started dancing. And that was our first time seeing him dance. He danced off that song. They said they ain't never seen him dance before till we played Casanova. So what was the concept with Casanova writing that song?
Well, actually, that was done by the
Callaway
Callaway brothers. Thank you. And so it was their concept. That was their baby. You know what I mean? And so Sylvia had the idea. Sylvia Rome with Atlantic Records at the time had the idea to bring in some other producers, and it happened. And they said, we're gonna, get y'all with Callaways. It was like, okay, and so they already had the track together, and we heard it. And it was like, okay, and it was pretty much, solidified that was going to be, a hit, and not you never know what it's going to be, but eventually that's what ended up happening, and it was probably Gerald's hardest song to sing because Reggie Calloway was meticulous with his vocal production and what he wanted to hear out of the track and out of the song. And so, Gerald would tend to go off and, want to do his thing, you know what I mean? And everything that he was doing, he's like, nah, that ain't it. We don't want to do that. And so it was kind of, it was the longest session for as putting down the lead vocal, and probably our longest section to do backgrounds was Pop Pop Goes My Mind, because Pop Pop we was working with another set of producers at that time. We wrote the song, but we had to work with them producers at the time. And
yeah, really, I thought that one was y'all. That was, who's that? Melvin Stubbs and them?
no, that was Wilmer Ragland and
Wilma.
yeah, Wilmer Ragland and
Freddie Flintstone.
I can't think of his I can't think of his name right now.
Wilma.
But he did the song "You Got Me Going in Circles." He did that song.
Oh man, Friends of Distinction.
Yeah. But he was the producer of that song. And anyway, so he produced Pop Pop. And so that was the longest session for backgrounds, because we ended up doing 20 something rounds or different backgrounds for for the backgrounds in the song. That was the most backgrounds we ever recorded at one time, back to back to back, 20 something different tracks of backgrounds of the same thing. So that's why you hear Pop Pop, it was kind of so big as far as the backgrounds was, because that was our first time doing that. And so every time we worked with different people, we end up picking up different things from them and what they were doing. And, some of it I adopted to what I do. The backgrounds, for instance, it's always been like, okay, we're going to do three sets of vocals to make it, stacks to make it big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't doing 20 something, but it was three was good enough. So
Three is the magic number.
Yeah. So
Dave, I got this question to ask you. How
Mm-hmm.
did you view your role at Men at Large in the evolution of R&B?
That's a ask me that one more time. Ask me that one more time, brother.
Okay, how did you view the role of Men at Large in the evolution of R&B?
Well, I tell you this, people really don't talk about it, but we were one of the first groups to, besides Marc and them, to implement hip hop in everything that we did. Groups weren't really doing that. You know what I mean? Marc and them probably did it first. Well, I know they did, but we had hip hop in everything. We had hip hop in the ballads. We had hip hop. I mean, it almost got us beat up too really bad, the hip hop that we were doing. But I think another thing that we did socially was made it acceptable for big men to be loved on and for it to be open that you love a big man. So like Rick Ross, Rod Wave, all these cats, they owe me some money. You know what I mean? Like they owe us some money. But I think that I don't know. Man, that's a good question. I think that, jeez, that's a good question, bro.
Your role, baby. What's your role, baby?
Road trendsetters. I think we did more socially than we did musically. That song though is the probably one of the number one Mother's Day or number one funeral songs in the history of the world. So alone I've sang that song at probably 1,000 funerals. Um, but I think socially we made it okay to be um a big boy and for big dudes not to walk out and be sloppy because anytime you saw us, whether we was at the airport, at the gym, we wasn't at the gym, but I'm saying at the airport, on the road, on stage, whatever, we always look good, we always smell good. That was the part that we played, and Heavy started it off, but it wasn't no big guy singing. Gerald, but he wasn't big, big. We was big, big, 400-pound big. Gerald was two something, almost three. We 400 big, you know what I'm saying? That's super big. That's fat, fat. And so, I think we probably did more socially, but I think that it as far as musically, we continue to solidify ourselves as crooners, crooners, the guys that made great music that stuck to your ribs, that talk to your soul, that talk to your emotions. And when you hear those songs, our core fans, our cult fans will be like, yeah, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this. But yeah, I hope I answered that question because nobody that's a dope question, man. That's why you've been in it for 50 years.
So I'm gonna hit up Mr. Gordon right now.
Watch him
Um,
answer better than me though, because he watched the news all the time. Fake news, fake news, fake news.
and Mr. Gordon, what memorable things that you can share with us about Levert that nobody knows?
Panty raids. No, I'm joking.
um, for me, I was kind of like the quiet guy. You know what I mean?
Still.
Which everybody knew that part of it, but what they don't know or didn't know was behind closed doors, we were different.
Well, you was a cut up,
Man,
right?
we
we were
wild out.
we were totally different behind closed doors. Like I didn't never show that to the world. You know what I mean? That was just exclusively for us.
Mm. Is it
Wow,
safe to
man.
say maybe you were a practical joker messing with people?
No, I wasn't a practical joker, but I would I would joke, but I wasn't the guy that was always joking. You know what I mean? Sean was the guy that was, he was a fun loving guy that was always, he was the party starter. He was the mediator when me and Gerald had beef or whatnot. He was that in between guy that he really wasn't as into it like we were at first, because you got to understand, um, when we started this, Gerald was in his senior year, junior or senior year in high school.
Mm.
Sean was just going to high school. And so when we first took our first road trip, Sean was technically still in school. So we were young guys. We were doing the chitlin circuit, and because of the age, we wasn't allowed to really be in the bars. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But we was performing in them.
Mm. Yeah. Another question. Levert has been an impact on the R&B. They have really been there. So how do you feel about the legacy that the group left behind?
Well, I think as far as Levert, I think we're still fulfilling that legacy. You know what I mean? I think we're still, um, you know, living it out and kind of riding it to where we keeping it out there and keep it in, as of late. There was a time that there was nothing going on as far as Levert. It was still being put out there because people love the music, but it was, you know, Eric Nolan, one of the OJs, called me and was like, "Yo, man, they want you to come back out here and do this, that, and the other." And I was just like, "Man, I don't know how we gonna do it because, I wasn't, I wasn't, I didn't want to do it how I was doing it before." And so I was like, so just so happens that this Tom Joyner thing came along at that time. And so that's what put it in motion also, is because, that little inspiration was in the back of my mind, like, okay, let's see if this is going to pan out the way I think it should. And it definitely did, you know what I mean? So a year or so later, here we are still, still fulfilling the legacy and, keeping the music alive, more than just, other people just, we can actually go out and perform these songs and
Yeah.
do a, a really good job of doing it, because of the family orientation and whatnot. So
Yeah,
Okay.
nobody can question validity of what's going on because it's all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
right.
Real deal. Familia, papito.
So Dave,
Yeah, Alpha?
uh, uh, with the new artists right now that's out there doing, honestly, what little R&B that used to be out there, do you
Mhm.
see any artists that's emerging that you see that reminds you of the 80s and 90s of R&B music?
I really like Lucky Day. I like Coco Jones. Man, my daughter hips me to a lot of them. I like Kalani. Um, it's a bunch of Giveon. And those are probably the ones that have the machine behind them that you hear all the time. But she lets me hear some stuff that's really good. Man, this guy the other day got a real good song. I do hear some implements of some of the stuff, but a lot of times I hear I don't know who it is, because they don't. It seems like they don't want to make stars anymore. They want to just pick a couple that they can have and manipulate and push the way they want to push, and then that's it. But there's so many independent artists out there online, like Montez's daughter, our PR and longtime friend from BET. Her daughter Karita is hips me to she'll send me like about 4 or 5 to like 10 new artists a week in my DM on my Instagram. She is like, man, somebody should hire her to be an A&R or um, music supervisor for movies and soundtracks because her ear is impeccable and she always sends me these people, man. There's so many. It's so many now. Like the difference in the game now is just like people just go and they just drop them. They drop and they drop and they drop and they drop and it's just everywhere. As before, it was just some localized and you know a clump of people. And, there probably was still more, but they didn't have the opportunity to just drop a record and be out there like they do now. You can go to any United with artists, the Masters or Distro Kid, all that stuff, and just drop your record, and then it's out there um, in the distribution channels, and it's just up to you to try to promote it. But I do hear some, but the ones that I would know offhand are the ones that you hear on the radio all the time, like your Coco Jones, is your Lucky Day, Giveon,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
Kalani.
know,
They don't even play Kalani that much, but she's
you
dope
know, I remember, I'm saying my age, I'm old anyway, but I
as
remember
hell.
I
It's your
remember when
birthday
people,
today, too. Happy birthday, brother.
oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's right.
All right, thank you. Um, I grew up when they couldn't get nobody to print their vinyl. They did themselves and sold the music out of the trunk of their car.
Yeah,
That's how they
like
used to do it back in the days. That
like
was their
drugs.
multimedia. That was only
Right.
them doing. They hit the barber shops, the beauty shops. They hit up all those places. So the
Mm-hmm.
question I'm leading up to now with social media out there doing things for you, what is the positive stuff and negative stuff that y'all see with social media?
Oh man.
Go ahead, Mark.
that's that's a that's a loaded question because social media is the devil, straight up. But on the other side of it, it's a good tool to use for things that you like you're talking about. Um, but it when used the wrong way, like so now you have um, you know people putting out misinformation, disinformation, people putting out information that's not even credible. And what's crazy is that the public is biting into the information like it's real, and this is where their sources is coming from. It's not coming from you know credible sources, and they don't fact check. So
Yeah.
it's like when you have that combination, now you got a whole bunch of people, especially black people, that'll grab onto some of this misinformation and take it like it's literal and run with it. So, but the tool is good for getting information out that you want to get about your business. You want to promote certain things. It's you can I would I would build it from the roots as opposed to getting into the bot situation, trying to create numbers that's not really numbers. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're only fooling yourself because those bots are not buying nothing.
Right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right. Yeah.
They not gonna buy nothing. you know, so uh, I don't understand that concept, but people do it. They try to boost their numbers because they want it to look good, and like they think that everybody's hip to that. So it's like they're not fooling the record companies by having these uh, you know, inflated numbers. But you know, it has a purpose, but it's like there needs to be regulations. And now that you have a Zuckerberg coming out there saying that he's going to scale back the information on what's credible and what's not, is like really you know, he's showing a different side right now that I don't know if they got a thumb on him or something. They got something on him to where
100%.
he don't he now he want to play ball. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's we in a different time right now. So we really got to be careful with what we're taking from. I would say if you get some information from social media, Google it, cross reference it, so you make sure you getting the right information. You should
That's
do that anyway. You know what I
Google,
mean?
Yahoo, Bing, Ask Jeeves.
I mean, you got everything, and that's the other thing. The beauty of the extra beauty of that is the fact that back in the day, we had to look up in encyclopedias. You know
yes.
what I mean? We had to go to the library. Now you got everything at your fingertips, and people still won't read.
Right.
You are so true about that. They'll believe something that they read on there, but they won't use that creative thinking to
Hello.
follow up and vet to find out if this is true or not, because they'll spread that lie just as quick as anything.
Yeah, man. And that what that does too. It also puts a hindrance on the jobs that as parents can do at the same time, because it's like they think, well, that was back then when you did it, but I'm saying, if you look at it, there's nothing new under the sun. The language, the actions, the things that people are doing, the gender stuff, all that, they've been doing it for years, but they just weren't comfortable talking about it or saying anything. Now, through the power of social media, everything is cool. I could come out and say, hey, I got 3 chest and 3 lower parts, and I'm going to be a trisexual, hetero, homo, John. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, oh man, I'm gonna roll with that. And it's like, it's so much stuff out there that's gaslighting these kids' minds, especially the kid, and it's starting to get to our generation too. because I hear sometimes, you know, the one thing you don't want to do with Mark is challenge him about news and different stuff like that. You can't. You cannot. I just sat there. I said, uh-oh, all Mark do is sit in front of the news all day. I said, this dude is driving to a brick wall 90 miles an hour with no brakes. And I just sat there, and and when he got out the car, turned around and looked at Mark, and we just laughed. I was like, man, it's starting to affect us too. But I'm saying, you know, I think it overpowers those that don't see anything or don't do anything. You know, the people that have complacent lifestyles that don't get a chance to see the world or don't get to travel like we do, or, you know, they're a little above average financially, then they're quick to a lot of times to fall for certain things. And I mean, you know, that's not all, but I'm saying in most cases, yeah, I saw that on such and such. Man, it got to be true. I saw it on TikTok. Well, I saw it on B.
Yeah.
Look it up.
And then, you know, on top of it, the other thing about social media is that once it's on there, you can't get it off.
Nah.
It's in the atmosphere. It's in the, you know what I mean? The atmosphere forever.
Yeah, you might have thought you erased it.
It's hard to scrub that off the internet. Because you don't know who captured it, who shared it already,
Who saved
you know,
it already.
all of that is, you know what I mean? So not just that. So now you got people that's super opinionated about stuff that they have no knowledge about. You know what I mean? They don't even have a clue about it, but they super opinionated about things that may or may not be true.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is a recipe, you know, like, you know, so it's given a pass for everybody. The people that weren't popular, that never had a voice, now all of a sudden they know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A blessing and an irritation.
Right.
I told my kids, when y'all go off to college, I'm gonna send y'all a picture like this. I told you so. Cause I'm waiting on my daughter to see it. My son already saw it. Go ahead, fam.
Isn't that funny that kids think they invented something and you can sit there and tell them? Like
Oh
some of the
yeah.
newer, no, some of the newer songs that's coming out. I said, man, you got that wrong. That song came out. No, I haven't. I played it to them. Man, I thought they invented. No, they invented on looking at somebody else's music.
They reinvented it.
Yeah, without permission sometimes. Now,
Right.
bring you to that question right there. When you hear your song, at least your beat to that song out there that somebody else is doing, um, they should give you a call and let you, hey, and ask for permission. But they don't do it nowadays. So how does that make you feel that people just want to rip off your song?
Well, they're supposed to do it. And if they do rip it off, then I would say, okay, let them keep playing it. Let them keep building it up and making it whatever it's going to be, because eventually I'm going to come and get you. eventually you're going to have to pay the piper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, nah, but you know, I mean, you know, it's you know, it's a blessing that people, you know, look at your stuff and want to redo it or whatnot. And but at the same time, I came up in that era of sampling, and before the, you know, the drum machines was the thing in the 80s, you know. And so when I got into it, you know, I sampled and I had to pay people. So it was like, that's just what it was. So rightly, I feel like, well, if I had to pay, you got to pay too.
Yeah.
I tell them independent artists, I'll be like, man, you ain't got no money to pay them folks. I say, I tell them on the other side, I agree, I want to get paid, but I tell them, hey man, put the record out and look, if they come and get you, then you made it, then it's over. You know what I'm saying? You done made that bread. You go. I said but you gonna have to pay them, but man, make sure you just give them their credit and just put it out. And
Yeah.
and if they actually come and get your ass, you made it. You made it.
That's
I
one way
said,
of looking at it.
don't spend them checks though, homeboy and homegirl, because they coming to get your ass, especially if you make it. Like I look back at that the white guy, Robin Thicke, and how they got him, but I'm sure he didn't have to pay. I think what Pharrell and them had to pay the money back or something like that.
Yeah, something like
Right.
that.
I don't think he wrote it. It was like what, $11 million to Marvin Gaye family.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You made it, brother. You made
yeah,
it.
yeah, they had the money to pay and
He
still had
made
some
it.
left over.
Yeah, Pharrell and them, yeah, they made it. I'm sure they made that
But
record.
what's crazy about that is that they didn't make Ed Sheeran pay. That's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a yeah. For some reason, it seems like our counterparts get a pass. For
and
some reason,
I don't know what it is or if that's a coincidence or what. It just seems like that, and but and we can match the chords and this and that and the other, but it's definitely in the same vibe as that.
hmm
No question about it.
hmm I think Sean Stockman exposed him online, didn't he? I think he did a video saying that was it during the pandemic? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, but it's out there. Jay Sean had a record that this record he did for 50 Cent and Joe, and some other cats used it, and he did some type of barter with him or something like that. I was like, man, go get your money, man. Go get that money.
Yeah.
So, Mitchell, let me ask y'all this: what is it like to be part of the golden age of R&B in the '90s?
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too.
That's actually the best, era ever
90s
because
and 70s.
yeah, from the 70s to the 90s, you know what I mean? Uh that's the best era, and I say the same thing about our generation because we kind of experienced everything before it became what it became. So I remember, we can go back and say everybody used to have a house phone, and you had that one house phone in the house.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. Normally in the kitchen, on the
That
wall.
long
Yeah,
cord
you
on it.
had
It
that.
reached to the
That
living
Yeah,
room,
long ass cord.
bathroom.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one, and everybody taking turns to use the phone, or before call waiting, because you
Yeah.
remember there was call waiting after that, but
Uh,
before
uh,
call waiting, everybody had to wait until, or you calling somebody and their phone was busy. Like that ain't happening now.
nah. Right.
So the transitions between technology is way different, and we've experienced all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're at the golden, that's the golden era to me as far as the gateway to technology, because we've experienced it before it was anything.
Yeah.
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 So, what advice will you give these up and coming independent artists that's trying to make it out there? What
Quit.
advice would you give them?
Quit.
Quit?
Quit now. Keep your day job, cuz.
Yeah, it ain't the same like it was. So you gotta
Nobody.
you gotta
Yeah.
have a niche. You definitely gotta have a niche and infrastructure on how to um, put your music out and sell your stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Especially
if
if you
you
don't have a budget.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't depend on these labels. Aren't the same. They're not really labels no more. These are you know uh, uh, companies, just pencil pushers that's trying to get money. um
Off the
and it's
movement you
like,
already got.
yeah, it's three or four people that own everything, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and they're out for what they want to get now. Is now they're really pushing towards creating an AI division so that they can just put out music without you. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's hard to do because you have certain artists that you can't duplicate what they do. And that's another thing. It's like we're the only industry that's happening. Now they tried it with the movies, and they was trying to do that with the movie, but the actors and everything, when they did the strike, that's part of what it was about,
Yeah.
Right.
because they wanted these actors that was, they were extras. So basically they they was telling them they could come in one time and they would basically duplicate their image and create other scenes with their image without them.
Right.
That's what they were trying to do. And they were like, nah, that's cutting into my money because you only gotta, you only gotta pay me once, but you're gonna just duplicate my image. And, so we're the only industry to where, this is what they're trying to make. And it's, it's terrible what they're trying to do with music right now. They devalue the music, and we have to bring value back to the music. And how we do that is with our own infrastructure. So that's lead me to what I'm about to say is about the about our new network, um, Anything Entertainment Network. And basically it's it's where we're going to have our own infrastructure to put out our own
Content.
content, you know what I'm saying, and probably try to partner with my man that's got the fan base, and
Isaac Hayes the third.
Isaac Hayes' son, yeah.
yeah, and partner with these, and partner with um my other guy that's got the stations and whatnot. So um, we're we're trying to create that lane so for independent artists can come and they can share their videos, and we can have a space dedicated for that. You know what I mean? Because there is no place that you can get that other than, if you create it yourself. But other than that, you go to YouTube, okay, you're not getting the shine at like a Video Soul used to give, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's something that we're going to try to recreate, that for independence.
Mm, good concept.
Plus I got a podcast that I used to do called the Marc Gordon Show. This was before videos was, they had the capabilities on Facebook and Instagram. They didn't have the video capabilities. This was before its time. And I was doing video interviews with different
You
artists.
sure were.
And so now I'm gonna bring that back and try to implement some of the same things to build that independent back up again. Not we
Yeah.
got to cut out the middleman and really put dedicate our time and put more into ourselves and not depending on the
Other
really, yeah, forget that.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to February 8th when
let's
y'all will
do it.
be in San Antonio, Texas.
Joe Long.
Yeah. And
Who
we're
is Joe
waiting.
Long, man? Who is Joe
Yeah, we're
Long?
waiting for y'all to come here. So you got yourself prepared. You know what you're gonna do. But when y'all come on stage, do you follow the blueprint, the book, whatever you have lined up, or do something happens with the crowd? Do you feed off the crowd to maybe change some things up, maybe songs?
Nah, I mean, we have the capability to do anything, but we come out there, we have a certain level. It's just hit after hit after hit, and it just builds, 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 builds. We do start with the Levert OJs, for the love of money, and then it build, and we doing Levert hits, then we do minute large hits, then we do Rude Boys hits, and then we get to the baby I'm ready, then written all over your face, and then man, yeah, man, he put it together. Mark's a musical genius, so he put it together. We when we celebrate the Levert legacy, most people will always have to say this in every interview. Most people think it's just Gerald, but Mark was the music man. He was the you know, the melody man, the man also with the lyrics, but he was the man behind the composition and putting all the stuff together that you want to have sex to, the songs, you know what I'm saying? I'm loving you for all see, you know, baby, I'm ready.
Yeah.
All that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He was the man behind the music that make you want to get into it. You know what I mean? So there it is.
Well, actually, the songs is like that. You listen to some of the songs you put out, some of the ballads. I guarantee you,
Bang.
somebody went home after a nightclub.
They
Let's
don't want, and they don't want to
listen.
go home that night because
Yeah,
once we get to that spot, it's going down. They're going to go home and get naked. They're going to either want to come with us, so it don't make a difference.
oh
Yeah, I
man.
heard over the years. I heard a lot. I heard a lot of that over the years, and it makes me feel good every time. You know what I mean? When people can come up and be like, "Yo, we got married to your song," or we had our 2 or 3 kids to this song, or they
Yeah, yeah,
named the record with inspired from a song, and it just shows you that people your music inspired them to it was an inspiration in their life, and that says something to me, you know what I mean? Of course you
Yeah.
want to get paid, but that's always like a whole nother level of just of just inspiration.
yeah. The whole beautiful thing about it, is I talked to one of these prominent producers one day. He's like, "Man, I'm just tired of this phone ringing, this, that, and the third." I was like, "Man, well, you don't want to see how it is when the phone stop ringing."
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, I ain't never thought about it like that, daddy. You know, I was like, yeah, I ain't your daddy, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, and it's a blessing to that the phone is ringing and it's ringing a lot right now. And we aim to please. You know, Levert Experience, we aim to please, baby. The most dangerous R&B group in the world right now. I'm serious. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, man, it's dangerous.
well,
Seriously.
you're bringing three groups together. Each
It's
one of
like a
y'all come
panini
from
press.
come from roots. So y'all got three groups coming together. There's nothing more dynamic than that because they can hear a little bit of everything going to your concerts. And I'm telling you, this is the first. I mean, I remember going to Cool Jazz Festival back in the days up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we had Earth, Wind, Fire, Ohio Players,
Ooh.
Cameo, and a few more groups coming on. And we seen all of them at one time.
Yeah, are you talking about the Funk United?
Well, that was, but ours called Cool Jazz Festival.
Okay.
That's what ours was called.
Oh yeah, the Cool Jazz Fair. Oh
Yeah.
man, I forgot about the cool. Damn, the cool. Woo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we did things right there, and we had a chance to go see all the groups. I mean, it'd be from like 12 noon to 12 midnight,
Hmm.
just 12 hours of music, just having fun. I miss those days. And with y'all
Right,
coming together, they get a taste of everything.
Yeah, literally.
They can't walk out of there saying they weren't satisfied.
right,
Oh,
right.
she definitely ain't never gonna say that about us. I'm telling you, she gonna be like, oh, it filled me up and it hit bottom. I'm telling you.
I hear
I
you.
can't walk straight, girl. I can barely come in. I ain't coming in to work. I can't walk straight.
Boy, Dave, you something else, man. With y'all coming to San Antonio, I'm honored really that have y'all on. It was Miss Miller that turned
Tezzy Poo.
around because she was she was
Montez.
watching one of my shows and she caught the tail end that we were talking about y'all coming to San Antonio and she reached out to me and said, would you like to have, oh, I would love to. And 3 days later, boom, it was there. And I do appreciate y'all taking the time out, um, coming on this show. It means a lot to let everybody know that we do have people coming to San Antonio because San Antonio for a long time we have not been getting no artists coming in that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
And lately it's starting to pick back up again because I tell everybody, San Antonio, I don't care what anybody say, it's a lot of
100%.
talent here. But
Okay.
when are we going to bring talent in? And here we go. We have Levert Experience coming in.
Yeah, they need to go get them tickets. The Joe Long Theater, baby, February 8th. Doors open at 7 o'clock. I want to see all the beautiful ladies from the Riverwalk walk over and see me I'm sorry, see us at the Joe Long Theater. It's gonna be a hell of a show. We have can I say who's opening up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bunny DeBarge from the DeBarge family is opening up. And comedian, oh my God, what's his name? You don't
Is
know
it
his name, Mike?
Hodges? Hodges?
Terry Hodges.
Yeah,
Terry
Yeah,
Terry
okay.
Hodges.
Hodges.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, he's a good guy too. So the show, Joe Long, February 8th, Joe Long Theater, the Levert Experience with Bunny DeBarge and my man Terry Hodges, comedian extraordinaire. It's gonna be a hell of a show. We're gonna be singing. We gonna make it a river walk in the theater. I'm just telling you, just be ready. You ain't gonna be walking straight when you leave out. I'm just telling you.
All
You're gonna be
right.
feeling good.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all coming on the show today. I really do. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on February 8th. I may not get the front row. Y'all hear some commotion. That's me moving people out of the way.
Man, we got you on the tickets. Don't even worry about that, man.
Yeah.
It's your birthday today, too, man. Happy birthday. 70 years young today, man. That's a blessing. And may God grant you 20, 30 more healthy, but mentally healthy years. You know what I mean? I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, when a man lose his sight, his mental dexterity, or that dexterity, I said you might as well just close the door. It's a wrap. Either one of the two out of the three. You need two out of the three because
Yeah.
hey, because when you lose that, you like, man, what am I even here for? I can't stand up. I can't see. I can't think. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't gonna happen. Mr. Gordon, you got any last remarks
He
for us?
said that ain't gonna happen. We wish
Yeah,
it
follow us at the dot Levert dot experience.
Yeah. The Levert experience, baby. We coming
Okay.
to rain terror on the microphones. We
And
everywhere.
I'm waiting for it. So we'll see y'all on the 8th. And once again, I appreciate y'all taking the time out your busy schedule to be on my show.
Thanks
Hey,
for having
hey,
us.
and we appreciate you for, having a professional,
Oh
interview
God.
and you know what I mean? Like just being like
On point.
yeah, you on point, bro. So keep it up.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
he got 50 years in it, man. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember logging crates of records and
Oh God, I
and,
used to
and
hate that.
those turntables and everything, those speakers. I remember lugging all
Heavy,
that stuff. That is not
heavy.
easy. And these
I
kids
hated that.
nowadays, they get a laptop and a controller, and oh man, no, you need to go back to old school day how we first started.
That should be their punishment.
Here, make something with this. What's that? All right. All right. Well, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you later.
Brother
All right,
Gordon.
thanks.
God
All
bless,
right.
man.
Thank you.
Later, brother.
All right. Later. Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.